Big deal. That's always went with the territory. I'll see you in Disneyland.
My defense, because I am such a part of it. I mean, I obviously I'm going to bear the consequences, so why not bear the responsibility?
Okay, sir, is she still alive?
You're alive.
When was the last time you saw her?
Mama, I killed Dean.
Brian?
Ma'am?
What are you doing?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Welcome to 50 States of Madness.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back for another week.
Welcome back. We hope everybody had a wonderful week.
Yes.
If you have not, we uploaded 2 videos last week. One of them is a blooper reel. If you have not watched it, please do yourself a favor and watch it, especially if you need like a good laugh or anything. I definitely recommend that you check it out. It's 8 minutes of
Shannon fucking up.
It's really good though. It just kind of gets better as the video goes. It just gets funnier and funnier and funnier. So yeah, if you need a good laugh and you have 8 minutes to spare, turn it on.
I don't know if it's my age or what it is, and if anybody can relate out there. I can't remember how or say anything. I can't form sentences correctly. I can't do anything. So today I was telling Gina, I'm sitting there and I was super excited because I went to TJ Maxx yesterday, got these cute glasses right here, my reading glasses. And I also found, they always have the candy at the end of the aisles, and there was the Lindora chocolates. And I love the Lindora chocolates. And especially the white chocolate with like the fillings inside.
Those are my favorite.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. And so I saw a bag and I was telling my coworker, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got the bag of Lindora and I've never seen this flavor before, but they got the Napoleon flavor. And she looks at me and she's like, the Napoleon flavor. And I'm like, yeah, it's so freaking good. So good, the Napoleon flavor. And another coworker she's like, I've never heard of the Napoleon flavor. And I'm like, yeah, the one with the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. They just about like, I'm like, really, did I not say that correctly?
Did you really not know it's Neapolitan?
No, I did not know. I've always called it the Napoleon flavor.
So when you go to
the store,
like an ice cream parlor or something,
I don't ever get that flavor at the ice cream. I always just buy it like the Thrifty brand, or I just buy it. So it was always the Napoleon flavor. I never knew it was the Neapolitan. What does Neapolitan mean then?
Chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla.
Well, then again, what does Napoleon mean? I don't know.
No idea.
To me,
not chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla.
To me, that's exactly what it meant. So I don't know. I was just like, so, you learn something new every day. I was 53 years old.
So that's
how to say the name of an ice cream flavor.
Yeah. So that was so just imagine that times like 100, and it was just back to back to back to back to back. I was having a day. I ended up having to make like an actual YouTube video off of that. I was going to initially just make an Instagram reel, but clearly much. I went over the time allotted for me, so it ended up being an actual YouTube video. Because it was just nonstop. Like it just, it was. Can't imagine. It was nonstop. So so
it took us really long to record that episode because it was super, super bad. So oh well. But here we are on another day, and luckily I'm not reading. Yeah. So you guys will be really happy about that. But we are going over kind of a shoot the shit on Sherri. Okay, I'm going to say names.
Oh, here we go. This is another one.
The Sherri Papini.
Oh, you got it. You did it right.
Did I?
What were you calling her before?
No, it was the other one, the Gabby.
She calls her Gabby Pepito.
Yeah.
Instead of Gabby Petito.
Petito.
Yeah.
And so like I have trouble. So, but no, it's the Sherri Papini story.
I'm surprised you don't say Sherri Panini.
No, that sounds really yummy. I would like a Sherri Panini. In fact, I'm a little bit hungry right now.
That Napoleon candy didn't do it for you?
The Napoleon candy didn't do it, and I'm thinking I'm going to eat a Sherri Panini.
Okay.
But I like, but So we're gonna shoot the shit on that because they have a documentary that came out on Hulu Plus. No, Hulu Plus was The Perfect Wife. Who came out with? Oh my gosh, what have we been watching it on?
Is it? It's not Paramount Plus.
No, it's not Paramount Plus. I'd like to give credit where credit is due.
Hold on.
And so
Hold, please.
we just. But we also had to go back and watch The Perfect Wife because from the new series with Sherri's episode that came out. I don't know why I'm getting brain fog. It's just so bad lately. Pretty soon I'm not even going to be able to do this.
It's on Max.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. HBO Max.
Yeah. So the new one, the Sherri Papini one, is Max, and then Hulu is The Perfect Wife, which was done a while back, I think in 2024. Yeah. And that was Keith, the husband.
And this is kind of her response to it. But I'm glad I watched it backwards. I'm glad I didn't watch. But then again, okay. And how many of you out there, you've seen this story all over the news. It's, the real life Gone Girl where she takes off and she goes to see a boyfriend and she allegedly, beats herself up and gets him to abuse her and stages this whole thing about her coming back just so, her husband stays with her, that she got kidnapped by 2 Mexican women. And, she can't eat beans for a while because, that's all they fed her. So
she can't open a can of black beans
because that's all they fed her. And so she's a little bit racist on some of her comments. I take a little bit of offense to it.
Well, I mean, and then don't forget about that blog that she wrote.
Yeah, the blog that she wrote. You guys, if you have not seen it, because we're kind of just going to shoot the shit on it and
just
state our
jump around
opinion on it
bit,
and jump around. So if you haven't seen it, please go watch that first before you hear from us, because we're just going to be, like we do, banter back and forth regarding it. We found out a little bit yesterday when we were kind of talking about it that we kind of disagree a little bit on it, which is not surprising because we tend to. But normally I'm the one who takes the side of guilty, 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 hate him, hate him, hate him. And she's normally the one like, well, wait a second. And this time it was the other way around. You're like, so.
I think that Sherri Papini is a lunatic. I think that she needs help, a lot of it. I think she's wildly crazy. And I think that she planned all this. And I think that her, what's his name? James?
Ex-wife Keith.
James?
Oh, James, the one who took her. Yes, James.
So I think that James,
the ex-husband, not the ex-wife.
I think that James is probably just as crazy as her, the boyfriend, who she claims kidnapped her, whatever the case may be. I don't believe that he kidnapped her. I think that she planned this. There's obviously, if you watch the documentary, there's a lot of things that can sway you either way. Like there were times I have to say where I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Like, but when watching both of them, her side and the husband's side, I really feel like taking her history, like all the trauma that she's been in, that she's gone through in her past, being
essayed at a young age, a family member, not really. I felt like the mom kind of did a little bit of abuse, not that kind of abuse, but like a little bit neglectful, abusive,
right?
And when she was younger, but they have a good relationship now. And
then, it also came out that James, the boyfriend who she, the ex-boyfriend that she dated before, that he was quite abusive towards her too. Mm-hmm. So, and I also think that Keith, the husband, was very controlling, probably verbally abusive. So I think that maybe these are the type of men that she seeks out. Or, I don't know. There are some people that I've known personally and some people you just hear about who crave this attention, and it has to be all the time, and it can be positive attention, negative attention. It doesn't matter, but there are just some people that just need that constant attention of any sort. And I feel like she's one of those people.
Yeah, you do get that she does. Well, I mean, I watched it, and okay, so I saw the trailers for it coming out before it even was shown. And when I saw the trailers for it, I'm like, this effing bitch. Like, is she really going to come out and try to convince us that all of a sudden she is the victim again?
Yeah,
and
but
I'm
why
like,
now?
And I think it was in response, and I think she was waiting for the court dates to go through. She had to serve her jail time. I think she was waiting to see how it played out with the custody with her kids. I think her timing was all based on what was happening in her life at the time. I think that's why she was quiet during the time that he did it. He did his recording in the Perfect Wife story. But watching it, her side first, and then going back and watching his side, I was telling Gina, there's a lot of stuff that corroborated what she was saying. There was a lot of stuff that they said in theirs that actually matched her story and what she was saying, and her story that she's been telling all along, except for the fact that she was hiding his identity, of James's identity. I'm not saying I believe her 100%. I'm not saying that she didn't lie, because obviously she did. But what my take is that I believe that she was very abused by her husband emotionally. I believe that she might have been swayed or taken by James. And I want to say taken, I'm going to use taken very loosely. I don't know if it was quite a kidnapping where he dragged her, but it was definitely coercion where he did drag her or he convinced her to go where I think she was one of those, like you said, spot on. She seeks attention. Yeah. So she was seeking it from whoever was giving it to her. She felt like her husband wasn't giving it to her in the marriage. So this guy started paying attention to her. She wanted that so bad that she was saying and doing whatever she wanted to keep him happy, but she was happy he was at a distance. He was all the way in San Diego, nowhere near her. She was living in Northern California, nowhere near her. But when the two worlds collide, she was like, oh, fuck. Like, she realized she was screwed and she was going to get caught. And she had signed a post-nup agreement with her husband after she got caught emotionally cheating on her husband with another guy. She signed this agreement. Then she agreed that she would lose custody of the kids and she would give up everything if she was caught in another relationship with another man. And I think she was terrified of losing her kids. I want to say I don't think she went voluntarily with this guy. I don't know necessarily if she was pulled in the car and kidnapped, but I think she was threatened to a point where she was afraid that her husband will find out that she's been talking to this guy. So she was willing to say whatever story she was going to say for her to protect the fact that she wanted her to stay with her kids. I can see that. And I know people are probably really going to disagree with me and agree with Gina for the first time ever. No, just kidding.
I know people usually think I'm the one that's crazy.
But I see it as part of, where women get into these relationships where they're so controlled and they're so terrified to tell the truth that they will lie over stupid shit.
My first inkling that she has something wrong with her was in the very, very opening of the first episode of her show, of her documentary that she did. The laughing, the way that she acts, where she's like, and this is my magic wand. Like, the giggling, that just shows a very unstable person to me.
Oh, good Lord. I must be like, she's about ready to commit me, guys. If I go missing,
but I'm saying, like, when you're talking, like, you're doing a documentary.
Yeah.
About this very serious thing.
And a traumatic experience.
Yeah. And she's just sitting there, like, cracking jokes. She's laughing. She's I don't know. It's very, very odd to me the way that she was acting. Yeah, I don't know. It was just very strange the way that she acted. And then there was a part where, you know, the person that saw her on the freeway.
Yeah.
In the video, if you look, initially she is not chained. The chain is not around her. Then she puts the chain around her.
Yeah, I didn't see that part. I didn't see that close. Like I mean, granted, a lot of times when I'm watching this stuff, I'm listening more than watching, like visually. So
that kind of, it's like little things like that, that kind of make me wonder if you had been chained up and you got that chain off of you, why are you putting it back on?
Yeah.
And it's clear. I mean, it is very clear that this woman endured some horrific abuse.
Yeah, I didn't realize
at the hands of James or herself.
I didn't realize how severe the bruising was.
Terrible. Her nose was broken.
Yeah.
I mean, aside for her being branded on her back, the bruising
all over
was just awful. It was terrible. And the amount of weight that she lost, like you could just see her ribs, you could see her spine. She clearly
sorry.
she clearly hadn't eaten in those 22 days. And it's just, you know, like when her husband Keith says there for a time, like every single day she talked about those 22 days, like she couldn't let it go. She couldn't stop talking about it.
I think, and I do think she used it a little bit. Like, I understand people going through trauma and you need to talk about it. But she would kind of use it as like if she felt like he was doing something she didn't like, oh, remember, I went through that. Or like, my life is so much worse than yours. Or remember, I did that. Like,
for her
not like a defense or like,
no,
I'm trying to get over it. She was like literally using it kind of like a weapon with him. But yeah.
And then she told him, like, remember, you were unable to find me. Like, you couldn't find me.
That was kind of mean.
How do you say something like that?
Yeah, like I have to live with the fact that you didn't come looking for me.
Like,
and
okay.
So of course he's being manipulated a little bit.
Of course. I think they were just both just had their issues. It was, I don't believe he was physical with her, the husband.
No, and she even said, like, he's never laid a hand on her. He was emotionally abusive and very controlling. And there's other ways to be abusive towards people. He talked down to her. He controlled all the money.
Which could be just as bad as physical abuse, if you ask me. Like,
I would think sometimes
abuse is abuse. Yeah. It's bad no matter what type, for sure. It does damage.
Yeah. Well, we had to take a little pause because my cat peed right in front of us. So, but
yeah. So continuing on,
we're his property.
Yeah, I do feel like, I feel like she's at fault. I really do. I feel like she needs help.
So you didn't believe anything she said about the story at all. You were like 100. She was talking to him. She made plans to
burn her phones.
Well, I know that she was talking to him. She never denies that she was talking to him. Do you believe that they talked about her going with him to San Diego and her leaving her kids and not picking them up from daycare that day? I don't think
I don't know.
Plans to go with him that day. I think he showed up and either he forcefully put her in the car or manipulated her to get into the car of some threat of some sort. I don't know. And then she doesn't want to admit to that because she's so terrified. She was terrified of losing her kids.
But him, okay.
And like right now, there's no threat of her losing her kids. So why would she not just tell the truth then of what happened? Why is she sticking to this?
Because she's already lost her kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She lost her kids. So what's there to lose?
Yeah, I don't. There's just something.
Well, crazy just be crazy sometimes.
And I know that. Yeah, because she's not thinking logically, and I'm not sure. I get, and like thinking back, like of like her interview, when the investigators are interviewing her, you could tell like she went into full panic mode.
Oh, you can tell she got scared when her husband was in the room.
Yeah,
she wanted to tell him to leave the room, but
of
she
course.
was like, "What do you want to do?" Like I feel like she will do whatever it is to make who's ever in front of her happy, and that's where I think she can be easily convinced or persuaded to go with someone, even if she doesn't want to. I just don't understand. Because to me, I'm like, why? Okay, and let's just say she is lying or whatever. To me, though, if you're a cop and you go into a room where the windows are boarded and there's a lock on the door and supposedly there's a story out there that she was chained, why would you not investigate further? Just a little bit more investigation instead of just taking his word for it. There are a lot of kidnappers out there that can hold a really good story and say that they didn't do it. But I just
so how do you think it is that she got away? You think he let her out or what?
I don't know. I don't know if it's based on promises or like, hey, I have no idea. Like that
like
was
you
the
think
point that you got me to like.
They concocted this whole story. Like you're gonna say it's two Mexican women, and
I don't think he knew that she was gonna go with that story. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I don't think they concocted that story together. I think she came up with that story to save face and not lose her kids. I think it was a spur of the minute story that she came up with. I don't think they together came up with that story. I just don't know how she really got away. Like,
yeah.
That's where you stumped me kind of too yesterday when you said like, well, you think he just let her go then? Maybe she made him promises that she would be back.
I just think like if he would have beaten her on his own like that, because clearly the story is that she asked him to do these things to her, hit me with a hockey puck, brand me, do this, do that. Obviously if he did these things to her on his own without her asking him, wouldn't he wait until she looked halfway decent to let her go? You think he's going to let her go with a chain around her waist and whatever? She was like, had zip ties. Like she was like, she had just broken out of God knows what.
But I'm thinking like, what if...
Has she ever said? Did she say he let her go or she got away? Like what?
Yeah, like she said that she convinced him to let her go. And I'm thinking, well, maybe she might have. Maybe she made promises that, hey, let me just go back, get my kids, divorce him, and I'll be yours forever. Like maybe in some weird way he thought she was going to come back on her own. Just let her,
And he said that like the majority of the time he was working. He was at work. She was home by herself.
So, but why does she have to be chained up if he was working? Why does she have to be locked in a room if she's working? Well, that's her story. That's her story. But to me, I'm like, but why were there boarded up windows and she's in a dark, and why was she locked in a closet? And well, this is her story. So I don't, his story is that she was able to come and go as she pleased and was inside the house.
And she chose to be in that room.
Yeah. She wanted to be in that room.
Yeah.
And she asked for the windows to get boarded.
But didn't she tell James that her husband had beat her?
She would tell him that he was abusive. I'm not sure about beating. It was that
I believe so. I could be wrong, but
no. You're probably
I
me
think
in my memory.
She said something about him physically beating her.
It doesn't, to Keith, her husband, he's like, this is a girl that like vanilla sex. Like it wasn't, right. She never was into like the beatings and the
right
and all this torture. So why now with James? That doesn't make sense.
But maybe they were together before. I mean, because they dated before, yeah. And so maybe that was something she did with him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
and like I said, he seems very unstable to me too. And of course, the picture that they show of him on there is the most unhinged picture they could have ever. It was like taken from here like up and he had this big huge beard. Like, do you remember seeing that picture that they showed of him?
I just remember I thought they showed the one picture that made him look really super handsome, and he's not even that, like, with them smiling together.
That one where he looked very good looking. But there was another picture that they showed of him where he just looked completely unhinged. And I was like, never in a million years would I have thought that was him. But who knows? Again, like, you're just looking at a picture. You don't know. You can't. But again,
yeah, we're not here to convince you to change your mind. Regardless of what side, it doesn't matter. I'm just
curious.
It doesn't matter to us. But the thing is that I told Gina when I first started watching the new series, I'm like, how the fuck does this girl go from me being like, there is no way in hell she's coming on trying to feed us some bullshit story, to why am I believing her all of a sudden? The power of documentaries in order to sway you and put you on their side, just like, the Making of a Murderer, the Natalia Grace one, the Scott Peterson one. Like, wow, the things they bring up that make you think like, oh, and have you question yourself and what really happened? Karen Reed, there's a whole pool on both sides. I just wish that there would be neutral parties that maybe go in, like, because for example, on this one, they do a lie detector test on her. Well, of course, the one they hire for her through the documentary is going to go and say, oh, I find her believable. She's very credible. They talk to her shrink, who has to believe.
But she wasn't, though. She was found.
No, they didn't say she was lying. It was found inconclusive.
Right.
So it's not quite like you're not telling the truth, but it's just
she's
like,
lying. She's a known liar.
Yeah.
She is a known liar.
They've known that. But then again, she makes a point. Who hasn't lied? Like, we've all lied.
Right. Everybody has lied. But if you asked all of your surrounding friends that you hung out with, do you think their friends would be like, oh, yeah, she's been known to lie?
No. Yeah.
That's how her friends described her. Yeah. Is like her family, her friends have been like, she's been known to tell stories and embellish things and lies. And, so... Yeah. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? And that's the really messed up part with, like, a lot of these stories is the only two people that truthfully know what happened is James and Sherri. That's it.
Yeah.
Nobody else is ever going to know the truth from start to finish of what happened. And, another thing that gets me is her phone. The earbuds, the piece of hair that was left
found on the floor.
That if that was not staged, call me a bullfrog. Like, come on. I mean, let's just get real here. That was completely staged. If somebody had tossed that, it was like
it was rolled up.
It was perfectly placed there.
Yeah.
So if he somehow manipulated her or drug her into the car or whatever the case may be, was he like, just put your phone down?
I don't think she was expecting to go. I think maybe they met up for a date. Maybe it was like, oh, hi, girl. Maybe it was like a planned meetup, but I really don't believe she was going down to San Diego that day. There's nothing around the house that indicated it. I don't think she's so worried about losing her kids. I don't think she would voluntarily leave her kids. I don't know. I don't know. I go back and forth. I do. I hear your side and I'm like,
yeah, no, it's like, I mean, you could be convinced either way. And
it's so hard.
And that's why we watched both sides, her side and his and the husband. Because
because after hers I was like, god damn, but then when I watched but even the husband, when I was watching the husband, I'm like, well, that's the story she told. Well, she did say that. They actually used that clip in her story from his. Right. Like some of the sound clips they used the same of, like, it was almost like the story was going down the same path and then all of a sudden it veered off. But
the really only thing that she is saying is that she was abducted.
Yes.
That this wasn't a hoax, that she was truthfully abducted.
Yes.
That I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he did all that to her and then let her go. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
I believe she was behind. For what reason? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I just say you guys got to go out there and watch this series. It is crazy.
yeah.
And insane.
And please go watch it. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it and just watch her demeanor. Watch the way that she acts. Like in the very first episode, like the opening scene where she's sitting in that chair and she says something like, I don't know. She says something about, and this is my magic wand, or I don't know what she says, but she says something really off the cuff. And just the way that she acts, all her mannerisms, like her giggling, it's almost creepy, like to watch her, the way that she's acting. It just doesn't appear to be like she's very mentally stable.
I didn't like how she acted, because that's exactly on some of the scenes that they showed in the trailer. I'm like, yeah, this bitch, like,
yeah,
come on, she's crazy. She can come out here trying to flip the switch on this story that we've all been following and we know exactly what happened, so stop. But as she goes on, I'm like, oh my God, did we get it wrong?
Well, and
I don't know, maybe because I have kind of like a little bit of a, like, abused women, like, how they behave and how they act, and they do act crazy sometimes, and they do act, I don't know, I just feel like maybe it's just like you said, from all the trauma she's experienced.
I feel like she's a very dramatic person too, because again, going back to like the attention seeking and all of that, because when she was released from jail, did you see the way that she left? She like darted out of the door. She ran. I mean, your story has been broadcast on national television. So there's going to be reporters there. TMZ is going to be there and whoever, right? You have to, but for you to make the exit that you did, to run into your sister or whoever you ran to, and you're covering yourself and you're screaming and you're just making this big, huge ordeal. If you had a mask on, if you didn't want to be seen, just walk quickly, get in the car and leave. She made the biggest spectacle on that exit that I was like, okay, this is what you want. Like,
I do think she's a little childish. She's a little drama, but I don't necessarily see it as like, oh, she wants the attention. I don't know, because
did you see how she left the building?
I do, but I also go back to when you didn't hear from her for 4 years, 4 years, the in-between time. She wasn't out there making the rounds on talk shows. She wasn't out there telling her story. She wasn't out there doing anything. In fact, she was staying home. They were really quiet, trying to move on with their life and just get on with it. So if she's really attention seeking, wouldn't she have been out there like, this is my story, writing a book, doing, the circuit,
I'm sure the book's coming.
So, well, now it is.
Yeah, the book's coming, guys. The book is coming.
But I think, I think because of the money too.
Of course.
Like, money will, because she has nothing. Like, literally, she married this guy. She had no control over her life after she married him. She had no income. He took everything from her and left her with nothing. She's going to have to find a way to make a living. So obviously there's going to be offers that she's not going to be able to pass up. And maybe that's the reason why she came out with this one, just to say, this is the story I'm going to come out and tell. And I think she did write a book, a journal, though. It was for her psychologist or psychiatrist, where he said it's probably better if you write it all down, and somebody helped her. And so she did put her story down to paper. I don't know if it was sold as a book. But she does have her story down on paper.
And
so
that
it's
guy,
there and ready.
I wasn't real fond of him.
No, I was going to say that. And then her psychiatrist comes on. Well, the thing is that there was another psychiatrist there kind of like talking about her that's more of a neutral, or maybe more on the other side, but more neutral, let's say. But her psychiatrist is like, well, I have to believe her because that's my job, is to believe her. And the other psychiatrist kind of said that too. Like you go in with a relationship to listen and to believe them, and you want to.
Because didn't he say that she has like a personality disorder or something like that?
She has several things that
she's
labeled,
so I mean, she clearly has mental illness, and
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate, but I do feel like, like she,
you really have to watch this and watch both sides. Try to see it from, like with more of a unbiased, neutral, which is really hard.
It's hard to do that, especially after you've known the story for like 4 years, and that's just embedded in your head. Like, this is the story and this is what happened, and now all of a sudden she's like, hold on, now we're gonna change it up. This is what happened.
Yeah, you have to go in with a clean slate kind of thing,
and that's hard to do,
and like a clean mind. But I'm even knowing everything and knowing all the stories and everything, but hearing it, just kind of listen to it and see where it takes you. I'm really curious as to where the pendulum falls for most people. And it is hard to believe a liar who's been lying. Of course. But maybe she wants to change her tune and come out straight. I don't know. So let's just see, So are you team Shannon or team Gina? That's all I want to know.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. No.
What are your thoughts?
I don't know. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below.
Just watch it. And I'm not saying she's 100% innocent in what happened, but I'm just saying that.
I mean, those are just my feelings from watching it, and again,
we never know.
And again, like I said before, we're never gonna know, because those are the only two people that are ever gonna really know the truth. And even if they sat down, say they both decided, like, you know what, we're just gonna tell it the way it is, ain't nobody gonna believe them.
No one's gonna believe them 100%. Yeah. So. But she's already served her time for it. We're not looking for James to get arrested or anybody to go to jail. It's not one of those where we're trying to find, somebody's gotta pay type episode.
Right.
But I'm just really want to know. Like, I want to know the truth.
Yeah.
No. So, but like a lot of our stories, we never are gonna know it.
Yeah.
So.
We're never gonna know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us for another week. Shannon is leaving in 2 days. She will be gone for 3 weeks.
Yes.
So I'm thinking of maybe having Dan do a couple episodes with me.
That'll be interesting. Can you do some UFO shit? Like,
yeah, we can definitely do that. And then there is a story that we were talking about with him at lunch the other day. I don't know if he can talk about it though.
But maybe.
If he can talk about it now that, there have been some things that have happened, developments in the case. I'm hoping maybe he can talk about that, and that'll be a really interesting episode. So,
and touch on some of that Massachusetts crime and what's happening out there, and our New Englanders.
Yeah, because he's from Boston.
Catching up to Texas.
Yeah, right. Yeah, seriously. Okay. So, so we'll have a few different episodes coming out in the next few weeks. They might not be super on time. They won't. So, it's going to be a little, not real scheduled stuff. When we can do it, we could do it.
I would love that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, we will see you guys soon, and be safe.
Bye.
Bye.